to make our mandalas, I have got a couple of cotton wool buds, and the idea of these is that on one of them you take off some of the cotton wool to make it smaller, like so, and then I have some PVA glue which I'm going to dunk that into and leave it to dry. And then I have another cotton wool bud as it is, which I'm going to dunk in and leave it to dry. This is just to give us a nice solid surface. I also have a pencil with an eraser on the end, and I've got some of these which are the sticks out of reed diffusers. That's it, reed diffusers, which are also quite useful, so if you have any of those they'd be quite useful. I also have some nice black paper, which is not essential but would be handy if you have some, and acrylic paints would be ideal, and that is all of the materials you're going to need. Okay, well, I'm hoping to be able to show you how to do mandalas, although I'm not 100% sure myself. So what we've got is a piece of black paper, and on the paper I'm hoping you can see I've drawn a circle which I have divided up with a ruler into eighths. I drew round a lid to get my circle, and that's our starting point. Now, the tools that I suggested you had prepared, it's probably a good idea if you experiment with them before you start to find out what size marks they make. So the eraser end of the pencil, the smaller end of the cotton bud, the large end of the cotton bud, and the sticks that I couldn't think of the names of, and the pointed end of the pencil. Okay, so best way to start is by dunking your pen into the paint, and I'm going to start with a big circle in the centre there, and then I'm going to go for some smaller ones around the outside. So I'm going to use the lines that I've drawn to give me an idea of where to go around the outside, like so. Let me use a little bit more paint. Okay, and then I have a cloth which I've been wiping the end on, and from there I'm going to go for a bigger circle, the end of the eraser, and the idea is that you keep dunking it into the paint, but not to overload it obviously, because then you'll just get splodges rather than circles, and go around the outside. Then another mark that you can make is by using, actually I'm going to try the green, by using the nib end of the pencil you can drag it out. So you start with the point and drag it up, and it's quite a nice mark to put in between to break up the circles, like so. I'm using metallic paints because I'm hoping that they show more, but any acrylic paint should do the job, although obviously it does depend somewhat on what paper you're using as to how well it works. I can also use this nib to do a very small dotted pattern around the inside. And obviously the more detail you get, the better it comes out in the end. And then if I use the stick, I can go on the lines, one there, 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 there. I'm knocking off the excess of the paint each time I dunk it. It's a bit of a fine art to work out exactly how much you need, and it'll just come from trial and error. And then from there I'm going to do a couple of smaller ones either side. Oops. Unfortunately, I'm not particularly precise, so what comes from me is nothing like as good as some of you will do, because being a little bit more precise would make a much better mandala. Okay, I'm going to use the pencil tip again and do some finer ones, and really it's just then a case of experimenting with the marks and building it up until you get a pattern that you like. And you can't really go wrong. You just keep with your dots. It's worth playing with the end of the pencil to see exactly what marks you can get. So I found that by doing this sort of mark, I could get by using two colours and get this effect, which I thought was quite nice. And you can also do a circle, a semicircle, and then you can go back from the other side. There you go. I think I'll leave it there because that's just about all I can show you.